Welcome everyone to XPod. So today is all about the proposed upcoming EV tax credit. So there's a lot to digest within the bill, and I've seen many questions pop up. So I thought I would try to answer some of them here today. Really, just the best that I can, at least. So to start, I'll go through some bullet points I have written down, and then we'll move on to a Q&A at the end, where you guys can add your thoughts or add any questions you'd like to ask, whatever. And for those that are curious and want to actually read the bill itself, and I wouldn't recommend it. The EV tax credit stuff starts on page 1,480, at least in the latest iteration. It's pretty dry material, of course, but if you're up for it, it has all the info that you need, obviously. For those that don't want to read it, that's what this episode is for. So yeah, let's dive in. So the current proposed legislation includes a refundable EV tax credit for up to $12,500, which is like a huge shift away from the current non-refundable amount of up to $7,500. The bill that contains the EV tax credit is Biden's Build Back Better bill, which just passed in the House this past Thursday on November 18th. And about $500 billion have been earmarked for various climate initiatives and plans, and that's where this EV tax credit sort of falls within. But for the bill to become like actual new law, three things need to happen. One, the bill needs to pass the House. Now that just happened this last Thursday. The bill now moves on to the Senate, where it'll face sort of its own set of challenges. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said they plan on passing the Build Back Better bill by Christmas, but with obviously all things politics, don't hold your breath. Obviously, these things take time. If the Senate makes any major changes to the bill, however, the bill must go back to the House to be approved and passed again. If the House and Senate pass the bill, then the bill then goes to the president for him to sign and make it into official law. All right, so now let's move on to the actual EV credit and what it entails currently.
Hold on. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there any rumors that the Senate has like its own like little agenda that they want to trim some stuff or add some stuff or?
Yeah, that sort of stuff, something I'll get into a little bit later on. The Senate had its own actually EV or sort of bill with the EV tax credit back earlier this year, but that's not what's being focused on right now. The Build Back Better bill is what they're going to be focusing on in the coming weeks. So, and that's the $12,500 credit. Whatever like Senate bill people previously heard of beforehand, just sort of get that out of your mind. That's not what's on the table at this time. All right, so now let's move on to the actual EV credit. And so keep in mind, things can change at any point. And there is no 200,000, auto manufacturer cap like last time. The EV tax credit takes effect, at least in the current form, will take effect January 1st of 2022 and expires December 31st of 2031. So essentially, it'll last 10 years, which is pretty incredible. So every EV has eligibility for the first 5 years. Now, during the last 5 years, the credit would only apply to U.S.-made EVs. So obviously like Tesla, Chevys, stuff like that. The new proposed EV credit is not retroactive. Let me repeat that, is not retroactive. This means that if the EV credit does indeed become active as of January 1st, 2022, everyone who got their Tesla delivered in 2021 will not get any credit. Also, I've seen a lot of questions about whether, it matters when you ordered your Tesla to get the credit. It really does not matter when you ordered your Tesla. It really only matters when you take delivery of your new Tesla or your new EV for that matter. So if you take like delivery on December 30th, 2021, you will not get any credit. But if you take delivery on like January 1st, and that's the first day that it is indeed, if the EV credit is live by then you get the full, qualifiable EV credit amount. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty mind blowing. That there's no no period of adjustments. I wonder if people are like delaying.
That's part of the reason why I delayed, because I was supposed to get delivery, I think, on December 18th, and I was like, I'm not just gonna it's 12 days. Let's say if it does go live January 1st, like of course I'm gonna delay it. So yeah, I think a lot of people will delay, but honestly, Tesla has such huge demand. Like they're gonna have no problem reassigning like those like delayed VINs or like push back VINs to other people. Like Q4 will be absolutely fine. It'll still be a blowout no matter what. So I actually ordered my Model Y in August, and I plan to take delivery later in Q1. That's how much I pushed it back. If I had taken delivery like in December, I would be sort of out of luck. The credit, as I said, is not retroactive. Also, there is no limit on how many Teslas you can buy and get the credit. Like literally every new Tesla you buy that qualifies will get the credit. So you can buy like 10 Model Ys if you wanted, and each one would get like an $8,000 credit. So yeah, and then you guys have any questions regarding any of that, or should we move on to the next thing?
Yeah, you just said 8,000. I'm guessing you're going to
Yeah,
break down a
exactly.
little bit.
Okay, so in
All
terms of
right.
the actual amount, and let's break this down, the base credit is $4,000. So if an EV has a battery pack of 40 kilowatts or larger, then they get an additional $3,500. So that's a total of $7,500. For plug-in hybrids, the gas tank cannot exceed 2.5 gallons, by the way. And this is for cars placed in service before 2027. So now comes the more controversial topic, which is domestic assembly. Now, you'll be able to qualify for an additional $4,500 in the tax credit if the electric vehicle is made in the U.S. with a union workforce. This now brings you up to $12,000. Lastly, you get another $500 for EVs using battery packs with 50% of components, including the cells, made in the U.S. So this brings up, us to a maximum total of 12,500 EV credit. So that's the headline number right there. So as of right now, there's only one EV actually that would even qualify for anywhere near the full proposed 12,500 credit, and that is the Chevrolet Bolt EV and the Bolt EUV. Now, obviously, GM did announce, though they're halting all Bolt EUV in production until at least early 2022 due to them wanting to focus on replacing, the unsafe batteries. But anyway.
Yeah, but they can afford to. Like they launched this whole EV revolution. So as I've heard, so they're the
Yeah,
leader.
exactly.
They're the leader.
Exactly, they're leaders. They know what they're doing. So naturally, there are price caps to the EV tax. So the bill's current language allows for vans, trucks, and SUVs with the manufacturer's suggested retail price of up to $80,000 to qualify for the full $12,500 credit. The quote unquote other category, which is like where sedans and wagons sort of fall under, the cap for that is $55,000. Used EVs get $2,000 credit if the vehicle is 2 years or older and costs $25,000 or less. You can get an additional $2,000 for a total of $4,000 if the vehicle's battery is larger than 40 kilowatts, though. So you can get up to $4,000 for, used EV, which is pretty cool, honestly. So last point on the category caps, the caps are MSRP caps. So this includes, and this is important, this includes all accessories or other options you add to your new order or vehicle purchase. The caps do not, and I repeat, do not include taxes or destination fees. Now, this is a question I think a lot of people were curious about. So if like your brand new Model Y, can cost like $79,000, and even if you pay like thousands more in taxes and destination fees, you will still qualify for like the $8,000 tax credit, which is good. That way you don't.
And
Yeah.
let's say like for FSD, like I think it's 10,000. It's still 10,000, right? Or 10,500.
Yep. 10,000.
10,000. Okay, so you shouldn't put that on there. You should just buy it afterwards once you take delivery.
Well, actually, no, because I believe a fully loaded Model Y costs $79,000 or just under.
With FSD.
With FSD, yeah, fully loaded, like red paint, full performance Model Y, white interior,
Okay,
even the tow hitch. Yeah, so you would actually still be okay. You would still get it. Yeah. So right now,
cool.
in the pending bill, there is no tax credit if you decide to lease a new electric vehicle. Instead, the tax credit actually goes back to the automaker or lender financing the leased vehicle, which is interesting. And lastly, there is, I think this is one of the most important points. To claim the credit in 2022, you will need to file your taxes. Again, you only get the credit in 2022 when you file taxes. However, starting in 2023, the EV credit changes and becomes a point of sale credit. So your tax liability won't matter. So again, with this change, it wouldn't matter if an EV buyer owes the feds or not. Anyone who buys an EV will be eligible. So yeah, keep that in mind.
That's That's so
No, it
fucking
is. It's like,
complicated.
I don't know why they wouldn't just make it a point of sale rebate right out the gate, but yeah, it's odd. So, yeah.
So if you don't have any tax liabilities in 2022 for some reason, like
Hmm.
you benefit like zero from buying an EV. Like,
Well, I mean, I don't know like the full tax rules. Like some people you can push like forward, like push your taxes forward to like the following year or whatever. Don't quote me on any of this, but yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, you
yeah,
gotta, you do sort of have to keep that in mind. Yeah. Um, so yeah.
yeah, and the no cap is also like interesting. Like for 10 years, we know where EVs are going. That it's like the future, and it's moving faster than anybody anticipated. I wonder how they're going to finance all that.
Yeah, and I do get into that a little bit towards the end, and I'll go over
Okay,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, so okay. So now you're probably wondering which EVs would qualify for what credit like amounts. So the Bolt EUV and EV, like I said, would both qualify for the 12,500 as they get the base of 4,000, 3,500 for having larger than 40 kilowatt hour batteries, another 4,500 for being built in a union facility in the U.S., and another 500 because their batteries are made in the U.S. Moving on to Tesla, since both Model S and X are like above the $55,000 and $80,000 sedan and SUV caps, they don't qualify for any EV credit whatsoever. The EPA qualifies the Model Y as an SUV, so under the current pricing as of November 22nd or the 23rd, I guess today, all Model Y variants, so the long range and the performance, would qualify for $8,000 total because the Model Y gets the $4,000 base. Just for being an EV, 3,500 because the battery's over 40 kilowatts, so kilowatt hours, and another 500 because its batteries are built in the U.S. So like I said, even a maxed out performance Model Y with red paint, tow hitch, white interior, FSD, it would still qualify because I think that adds up to about $78,000, which is $2,000 under the $80,000 SUV cap. I hope this isn't too confusing for everyone. Okay.
No, following you so far. What about the
Yeah, don't
Maquis
worry. I'll get
though?
to that.
And it's
I'll get to
Echo
that.
in Mexico.
So no Teslas would qualify for the extra 4,500 and the union credit because Teslas aren't built in a union facility, obviously. As for the Model 3, since that is a sedan and sedan EV credit cap is 55,000, only the Model 3 rear-wheel drive and Model 3 long-range variants would qualify for the 8,000 credit, since the Model 3 performance starts at 58,000, which is like 3,000 over the $55,000 cap. As for the Cybertruck, every variant would qualify for the EV or the $8,000 EV credit under previously disclosed pricing, which obviously could change anytime before it launches. And as for the Ford Mach-E, which the EPA categorizes, oddly enough, as a wagon, and wagons fall under the category which has the $55,000 cap. So the Select, the Premium, and the California Route 1 variants would all qualify for $7,500 in EV credit this time around for the new bill. So you might be asking why the Mach-E gets $500 less than the Model Y and $5,000 less than the Chevy Bolt. Well, the Mach-E is the only EV I've mentioned today that is not made in the U.S. The Mach-E is made in Mexico, and its batteries are also not made in the U.S. They are made by LG, and they come from Poland. So it gets a little bit less than the Model Y. Any questions regarding that, or pretty good?
Is there going to be you think like a workaround where they can, like the batteries are, or like most of the assembly is done in Mexico and then they just ship it to the US and install like front and rear bumper and suddenly it's illegible or something like that?
I will never underestimate legacy auto manufacturers' ability to finesse their way and get what they want.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know. In terms of income, single filers with adjusted gross annual incomes of $250,000 or more, or joint filers with AGIs of $500,000 will not be eligible for the full credit. So if you make more than that, your EV credit amount is reduced by 200 for every 1,000 in income above those caps. Income limit side.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So when you were talking about like for 2022 fiscal year, this is where it would this rule applies, but in 2023, like it doesn't matter what your income is, you would get the point of sale rebate.
I actually think I actually think that there might still be a cap. Actually, I think going forward for the full 10 years, that income cap remains, whether it's next year or
Oh,
2023. Yeah, because they don't want
okay.
just like super rich people. I think just taking advantage of this because they may or may not need it. I won't get into the politics of that, but
But how would you, like, when you buy your car in 2023, you would have to bring your tax return to get the point of sale rebate figured out?
yeah, I don't really know exactly how that'll work. I'm assuming that's the case. There might just be like a system, the government might set up where like they'll just, like a dealer or whatever, a store can just like log on into something and it just tell, whether you qualify or not. I'm not sure
Okay.
though. And the income limits, I believe, are based on 2021 earnings for next year, but I'm not 100% sure if it's 2020 or 2021. So I tried to find the answer to that. It was complicated, so I couldn't. Lastly, I want to offer my quick opinion on the state of the bill. Now, the bill, I think, is likely to change a bit in the final Senate version. There is strong opposition from Senator or Democratic Senator Joe Manchin on the extra $4,500 for union-built vehicles. So the Democrats need all 50 of the party senators to be on board to even have a chance, of these things passing. So I'd be surprised if the union provision made it out alive. Regarding timing, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, he wants to pass this bill by Christmas. But honestly, that's a tall order in this political environment. Like, don't be surprised if it ends up getting passed, in some point in Q1 2022. So just be aware of that. So yeah, I think those are the main points that I wanted to cover. You guys sent me a couple questions on Twitter, so I think I'll maybe jump into those real quick. Alex or Amy, do you guys have anything before I jump into those?
I was just wondering if there was anybody other than Manchin that was disputing the constitutionalness of the 4,500.
Where some Republicans obviously have, but that doesn't necessarily matter. As long as all 50 Democrats, and then of course,
Right.
Kamala Harris will be the tiebreaker vote, because she's the vice president. Really, it's just Joe Manchin that I've heard has at least been really vocal about it. Obviously, some other senators might have concerns, but it really hasn't been publicized all that much.
We have.
And when do they start discussing it? Do we know?
The bill?
Yeah.
Essentially, like right after
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been just seeing we've had like people call in and like drop out. I don't know if it's a fat thumb syndrome or what, but yeah, feel free to call in and we'll put you. We'll give you the microphone.
Yeah. So let's see. I got like two questions I'll answer from Twitter.
Oh, hold on. He's gone.
Yeah. Oh, God. I think we'll do the two questions and we'll just take the audience.
Don't hit the X. Don't hit the X.
So one question was, would vehicles made outside the USA qualify for the potential union credit, i.e. Ford, Maquis, or GM products? Also, Biden touted getting a credit for the Hummer EV, but will it likely exceed the price limit to qualify? So my answer to that is, as for the Hummer EV, the base model is slated to come out in 2024, and according to GM, will be priced at $79,995. So technically, it would qualify. But as for vehicles made outside the U.S., yes, vehicles would qualify, but only for certain amounts. Depending on if their batteries are made in the U.S. or not. Like I said, the Maquis would qualify for $7,500 despite being made in Mexico. And here's an interesting fact I actually recently tweeted recently. The most American electric car you can buy isn't like a Ford or Chevy. It's actually like a Tesla. 65% of a Tesla Model 3's parts, come from the U.S./Canada, while like only 24% of the Chevy Bolts come from the U.S. and Canada, and only 15% from the Ford Maquis, which is crazy. And the Model Y is 60%. So good on Tesla for localization,
Yeah, I think it's also part of their vertical integration.
Yeah,
like the more things you make yourself, the more larger the percentage of the car will be made locally.
Yep.
I don't want to deviate too much, but the plastics area that they're going to have in Austin, is that going to be new pieces?
Plastics. I'm not sure if I know what you're talking about.
Joe keeps mentioning it on his videos. It's between the gigapress and the battery. It's that section that they just did.
Yeah, I haven't been able to watch some of his videos lately, but I would assume that's probably something that's similar they're doing in Fremont, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's just like more localization. Like, it's great. So final question from Twitter is, can you determine the amount of money allocated in this bill for the tax credits versus the number of electric vehicles expected to be sold? I have heard that this amount is not enough to cover the expected number of vehicles to be sold. So my answer to that would be that, the new framework of this bill includes $320 billion of expanded tax breaks over the next 10 years to support clean energy and electric vehicle adoption. So, let's be conservative and say 10% of the US car market will be electric, like in 2025. Like about 12 million vehicles are expected to be sold in 2025. So if we assume like an average of $8,000 EV credit times that, but by 10% of 12 million, which is 1.2 million, that's 9.6 billion in EV credits, cost just in 2025. Now, to be clear, I think it'll be obviously much, much higher. Like just next year, Tesla alone is going to deliver over that amount. Obviously, that's a global number. But yeah, in 4 years, it's going to be way above 1.2 million. But it'll be a lot of money. But you know what? I think it's good for the environment. It's good for consumers, and it's good for these companies. So yeah, Tesla doesn't necessarily need the tax credit, but it's a good thing, I think, to sort of spur development and accelerate things for other companies that are sort of lagging behind. It creates an incentive for them to sort of speed things up. So that's, not necessarily a bad thing because, competition at the end of the day is a good thing. Elon Musk wants competition. Tesla wants competition. And as investors, we should want competition because that, improves Tesla's products. So yeah, that's my 7-page sort of rundown of the EV tax credit. I hope I answered most of your questions. Obviously, I probably couldn't answer every single one of them, but I think when we post this full episode on YouTube, I'll leave the link to the actual bill and what page the EV tax credit stuff starts on. So yeah, hopefully that'll you can dive into that if you'd like. So yeah, I guess we'll jump into questions.
Thanks a lot. You did some amazing work there. So we don't have to. Okay, so let's take the first caller. Happy, you're up.
Oh, hello. So sorry. So a couple things. One of the things I learned that there was the EV tax credit is supposed to be one per year. Is that correct?
So that's not. So based on what I read in the actual bill, that's not what I understand. So you can essentially just buy as many EVs as you want, I think. Now, obviously, it's always best to go and do your own research. I could always be wrong, of course, but it's my understanding that you can. You don't have a cap per person to how many you can get.
Okay, number three.
Okay, Happy.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then one more question. The other thing is they were saying that they're going to the Senate might kill the 4,500.
Yeah, so I sort of covered that at the end there. I would be surprised if the $4,500 union provision sort of passed because of such strong opposition from Senator Joe Manchin, and they need his vote to pass it, essentially. So, yeah, I would be so shocked if, honestly, that made it through.
Oh, they'll horse trade.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I've actually sent a letter to all of my senators and my House people as well, and Pelosi, that I don't want that, as well as to the president.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I would recommend everybody on this call to do the same. We definitely don't want the 4,500. It's useless unless it's made to for batteries or something like that.
Absolutely, that's one of the great things about America. We can voice our opinions.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Happy. Tesla Fanatic, you're up.
Hey, Sawyer. Thanks for the awesome episode. I have a question,
Sure.
and I'm planning to do a trade-in for my Model 3 to buy Model S in April. I mean, the used car price is pretty crazy right now, but I suspect the used car price might drop due to the credit. But then do you also think
Mm-hmm.
trade-in offer will also drop due to the credit? I am kind of confused because Tesla will get the credit when they sell the used cars as well. Do you have any opinion? I mean, it's also speculation, but yeah, I just want your opinion if you have.
No, I don't expect too much movement in the prices. Especially with like such low supply right now and high demand and like supply shortages. Everything's just sort of inflated right now, and we can't know for sure if Tesla's been raising prices so much because to sort of front run this potential EV credit coming online soon. That's probably part of it. But I think it's massive. Like one of the best ways to sort of tackle demand and try to is to raise prices. Like that's economics sort of 101. And if they were to keep I think the price was
Right.
like at the long range I think was like about $50,000 or $49,000 at some point in January of this year. Can you imagine how many more orders they would have and how much longer the wait times would be if the price was still stayed
Mm-hmm.
at the same? So yeah, it's tough to know exactly
Yeah.
what will happen to the used
Mm-hmm.
car prices and stuff. But I don't think there'll be too much movement.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got the tax credit when I bought this, and when the tax credit expired, used car price did not increase because of the tax credit expired. So I kind of do agree with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's take next caller, Sunil.
Thanks for
You're up.
organizing this, guys. So the clear losers for this would be, I'm not talking about the EV companies, but from country-wise, Canada and Mexico. Do you think they can do anything about blocking this?
Honestly, no. I don't think they can. I know a lot of especially I think Toyota especially has been fighting the union credit provision. But I don't. I think there's so much support, especially from like people in the U.S. for this credit. I don't think they're gonna just knock it down because I think I read today, at least the liberals in Canada proposed a $9,500 EV credit or something along those lines. So they're going to do their own thing up there. I don't think it'll hurt Canada too much because
Yeah, I think right now it's 5K. I think.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah, I think so. 5 or 6. I don't remember. But this
Yeah.
is like Canadian pesos. It's not US dollars.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't expect Canada to be able to sort of bring this thing down. No way.
Thanks a lot. Let's take next caller, Ricky.
Hey guys.
Yo.
Hey.
Sorry I came into the room a little bit late on if you're repeating this, but I just wanted to see if my perception of this was correct, because right now I have a car in order and it's between January 21st and February 18th. I have not done the financing piece of it. I'm going to put a lot down on it. But I'm imagining that the rebate piece would actually show up in that calculation.
Yeah, that would be. Yep. Good.
I'm just imagining that would be there. I haven't gone through with that financing piece because they said it was only good for 60 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to know. And are you wanting to take delivery during the time, or are you looking to delay it actually?
I would actually like to take delivery around that time because it's right around my birthday.
Okay. All right, good plan. Yeah, I don't really know how it's actually going to go down because honestly, like right now, we don't even know what the final bill is going to look like in terms of language. So it's hard to say with definitive certainty, how it's going to look in the end. I wish I had more answers, but I just can't provide them at this time.
But it's not point of sale, so it'd have to be on your tax.
Yeah. In 2023, though, I would imagine,
Okay.
yeah, it would show up probably in that financing section. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was under the interpretation in some of the original language that it would be close to point of sale. Did that change?
That would be great.
It used to be, I think point of sale directly from the beginning earlier this year. But as the language stands right now, 2022, it's just you got to file your taxes, which is really unfortunate. And then 2023, I'll give a shout out to the bearded Tesla guy on YouTube. He did a great video on the EV tax credit recently, and he goes into the sort of the timing of it, the 2022 versus 2023 thing. So go check him out. He did a great video.
Which one was that again?
I think it's the bearded Tesla guy.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Ricky. Let's take next caller. Chen, you're up.
Hi. Sorry, I came to the room late. Just wondering, for the caps on the EV tax credits, does that take into account like options like FSD? Because that could probably push it over that amount.
Yeah. Okay. So I did cover this. So FSD will, that is included in the final price. So what you could do, let's say, obviously the Model Y and Model 3, you're not gonna, no matter what variant you get, you're essentially not gonna go over the cap, except for the performance Model 3. So it's really not gonna matter. You can just wait until after delivery if you really wanted to, but then obviously to get the FSD, but obviously then you run the risk of the price going up, by 1,000 or 2 if they decide to increase FSD. But in terms of like accessories and like those type of upgrades, those don't count towards the actual total. I think that's what I said, right?
I mean, like the wheel options, the paint color, all that, they don't really count.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, it does. Yeah, I'm just going back.
I was gonna say you told me to.
Yeah, they're MSC, they are MSRP caps, so this does include like all accessories and other options. So that would be like FSD.
Yeah, but you also said FSD would not push you over, except the only exception was performance Model 3.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. You can get FSD on whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But you
if you
still
were to,
have to be under that limit.
Yeah. So again, it's for a sedan. So like Model 3, it's 55,000. You can't go above that. For SUVs like the Model Y, it's 80,000. But even a fully loaded performance Model Y, it's going to be about $78,000 or $79,000. So you're not going to go over that.
So like a tri-motor Cybertruck with FSD probably wouldn't qualify unless I added it after.
So actually, at least they have since taken the pricing down. But a fully loaded tri-motor Cybertruck with FSD was $77,000. So actually, you'd be fine because the truck cap is $80,000. Now, I'm expecting the Cybertruck prices to like actually go up by the time it actually launches. But we'll obviously have to see. But as of right now, the Cybertruck would be fine. All variants for that matter. Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot. Up next, Clay.
Hello. Do you anticipate the price caps going up over the years, just like due to inflation, or does like the language of the bill not allow something like that?
That's a good question. The actual EV part is just like probably like 100 pages, if not more. So I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it just stayed the same. Even with inflation. But
okay, and this bill is it's good till 2031. Is that right, or am I?
Yeah, December. So it's essentially inactive as of after December 31st, 2031. So it lasts for 10 years. So all EVs get credits. The first 5 years, and then only U.S. made EVs would get the credit. The latter half. So the year essentially 6 through 10.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it would be surprising if we didn't see a number of the vehicles sort of have their price increase past the cap, within the next 10 years. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would agree. But at some point, it's really not even going to matter, at least for Tesla, because they'll be absolutely fine. I mean, obviously, some legacy auto manufacturers will want that for years to come. But even right now, Tesla doesn't need this credit. They'll be fine either way.
No, right. Hey, I'm just thinking more from a customer perspective.
Yeah, no,
but
that's
totally agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, but $25,000, the $25,000 Model Q or 2, that would make a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, and honestly, the Model Y price alone has gone up 10 grand this year. Like, that's not going to stay that way. That is going to come down eventually. But I don't know how long it's going to take, because obviously demand has to sort of match up with supply, and the supply shortages issues, all that needs to be sorted out. But once that happens, then I think we'll start to see the prices come back down to more realistic to what they were earlier this year.
Do you think the same for the 3?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great.
Because no way that the entry level Model 3 will probably continue to be $44,000 or $45,000. That just seems too high to me.
Sure. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Clay. Back to Sunil.
Hi guys, just sharing my experience. So I ordered the Model Y, and it was the estimated delivery date was April, and the price is locked. It's $3,000 lower than what there's been price increases since then, and I did not fill in the rest of the information. Like I think you have to give your license information, you have to type in your address, stuff like that. And because I didn't fill it out, the delivery date went all the way back to the line. So it's actually getting delivered in middle of June. So just a heads up, if you place the order, make sure you fill the rest. Otherwise, you're just going to go back to the line. The good news is the price is locked, so then they're not going to bump the price to whatever the current price is going to be at. So do you think now that the Model Y has jumped almost, I want to say $7,000 from what it used to be, do you think they're going to do? They're going to surprise us with like, hey, here's higher range. I know you're paying more. Or do you think 4680, they're just going to right size it to the 320 miles or something?
I used to think the 4680 range would actually match the current Model Y range, but I am not of that belief anymore. I think it'll actually be closer to 350, anywhere from 350 to 400 miles of range. And I think the price will come down. It's it's actually gone up about almost around $10,000 this year, which is nuts. So yeah, I would expect. Eventually they're gonna, I think, launch the Model Y standard range probably like eventually again, or I guess they'll call it the rear wheel drive, because I think that's a killer vehicle. But they just, there's really no reason for them to be making that right now because there's such, they're production constrained across the world. But yeah, I would expect more range in the 4680 Model Y. That's my guess.
And one last question: do you have any idea of what the charging rate is going to be? Say once you hook it to one of these superchargers.
I don't think I want to speak on that because I've been given numbers, but I'm not supposed to share those numbers. But it'll be better than what it is currently. Yep.
Thank you, Sunil. We have Alexander. You're next. Oh, we lost Alexander. Maybe Fat Thumb. Give him a few seconds to. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I clicked on the wrong button. I just came across something. I wanted to put out correct information. It may have been, or may have changed since Sawyer saw the bill last, but the price ranges of the vehicles, the limits of them have changed, and I just lost it. I'm looking at the bill right now. The SUV has gone up to, or down to, 69,000, so all Ys may not indeed qualify, and the pickup trucks has gone down to 74,000. So if you add FSD onto either of them, like a tri-motor Cybertruck, like what I have on order, that's not going to qualify.
So I actually want to correct you. So the bill those numbers are actually from the previous version of the bill. The current bill is those $80,000 caps for the trucks and SUVs. The bill I'm looking at right now is dated as of November 3rd, and I believe that was the latest iteration, unless you can correct me if the iteration you're looking at is like as of tonight.
I'm scrolling up the webpage right now to see if it has a date on it.
What website are you on first?
Congress.gov.
Okay, so that helps.
Yeah, it's the website.
It should be on the first page, right at the top. Should be.
Yeah, this one's it looks like dated September 27th.
Yep. So that's the old version. The new version has higher caps, which is great for all of us.
Well, my apologies then. Google has failed me.
It's all good. Look, all this stuff is so confusing. Like, it really is. I don't blame anyone for, yeah.
But let's say interesting theoretical. Let's say that that the numbers would to change again and the caps would go down where you couldn't add FSD, let's say, to any Model Y without busting the cap. Is it possible to order your lock in the price of FSD and still have a car being delivered, meaning that you can, let's say you place your order for the car without FSD, so you're under the cap, but then separately you buy FSD without having taken delivery yet of the car and lock in that price? Is that a possible thing?
Yeah, no, you could. Honestly, the smartest thing to do is order exactly the variant that you want, even if it has FSD, because you can remove FSD at any point on your account and not be penalized. Your price will still be locked in. I believe you can only do it like once or twice. You can alter the FSD on or off once or twice before they sort of like say, no, you can't change anymore. But I would suggest if you want FSD, just order it with your car. And then afterward, at any point, you can just log into your Tesla account and just remove it if like the caps are just, lowered for whatever reason. That would be my course of action that I would suggest.
Oh, that's good. Good strategy. Yeah, because we don't know. FSD is like what I'm seeing from the videos is making like amazing progress. It wouldn't be surprising that if the bill gets like delayed a little bit and FSD keeps doing well, it gets out of beta and suddenly it goes up by $2,000-$3,000, and then you're basically losing out.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's like FSD is definitely going to go up in 2022. I don't know by how much, but
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So a couple things to add to that. There's precedent for Tesla doing something similar to that. I think it's in Canada. They limited the range, and for a certain amount of money, you could unlock it to meet the criteria for their tax incentive. And then in, where I am in Colorado, the lower the MSRP on, the less you pay for registration. So if you get FSD after you signed all the paperwork and added it on later, you would be paying less for registration, but you take the risk of it going up in price at Tesla's whim.
I thought that through too, because that's what they told me at the service center. Where in Colorado are you?
I am in northern Colorado, about 10 minutes south of Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. I'm in Westminster.
Oh, okay.
So, but the thing I was asking, there's no possibility of ordering and paying for FSD unless you already took possession of your car. Am I correct?
Well, obviously, like after you've taken delivery, you can just buy it at any point.
No, but before.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to buy a Tesla today, and I know I'm not going to take delivery like for a few months because everything's backlogged. And let's say my credits don't allow me to include that in the purchase because MSRP is going to be too high and I'm going to go be over the cap. Can I place my order for my, let's say, Tesla Model Y today with like minimum MSRP so I qualify, and then go on as a different purchase and go on Tesla's website and say, I'm purchasing right now FSD for my future car? Separate bill, separate thing.
I don't think so.
No, you can't. Okay.
No.
I believe so. No.
Otherwise, people would have bought it years ago for what, $4,000 or $5,000. I would have done that, and I'm still years away from getting one.
Yeah, but still, it's not. Tesla wouldn't be missing out on anything. It's a sale at the current price, and
like if you go into your account and add FSD, like I believe your your order subtotal will change.
Yeah, it goes up.
Okay.
So it wouldn't matter if like you ordered it right then without it or not. It's like if you want it, you're gonna have to pay for it eventually. It's gonna be part of your subtotal, unless you wait till after it's delivered. But then you're on the risk of it going up in price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although the
people,
tax
if you
credit,
want, get whatever variant you want, exactly how you want it, and that way you're locking in all the prices and all that, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. You can just remove FSD at any point you want in your account.
Unless you're feeling really lucky.
Yeah. Unless you want to gamble.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky. Thanks, Alexander.
So I thought the one of the reasons that I locked in the Cybertruck, and I am not expecting it because I think I did the math on mine and it was up there. It's in the like at least over 1.5 million or something like that. I was pretty late to the game. But I did it after Dave Lee did that video where you lock it in the price of the FSD, and in case it went up in the future, that kind of loophole. And in my mind, I'm wondering, okay, maybe with that, I have to go back and look at the price and see if with the dual motor if I went over the $80,000. I don't think I did. But even then, I'm thinking to myself, well, his original statements on what the value of that would be and whether or not they're actually going to charge it. I honestly think every company wants to go to a subscription service if they can, because in the long term, that's more beneficial for the company. I think they would try to price it out and raise the price to that where you'd be more at a benefit of keeping your reservation of FSD than getting the rebate.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I'm trying to look at my account right now. I pre-ordered the Tri-Motor Cybertruck, the night it went live, or the morning after, I should say. And I'm trying to see. It was so FSD back then was $7,000. I don't, it's kind of unclear right now if all these of all of our Cybertruck orders with the FSD, if all that's locked in the FSD price or not. It's kind of confusing. I think it's just up to Tesla really, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but they're usually fair with that stuff.
Yeah, they are. That's true.
They might offer different packages, which will make some people, and different variants, which might make some people want to change their configuration, and that'll level out with those who stick with the original pricing. And so they'll honor that, but they'll make it up part of it with some different add-ons and accessories and maybe variants and stuff like that.
Yeah, at least for I ordered my Model Y long range with metallic midnight silver metallic paint, and since I've ordered it, it was $1,000 when I ordered it. Since then, it's become a free option, but Tesla won't give me that 1,000 back. I'm still gonna have to pay that 1,000, so that's interesting. Not a huge deal, but
well, sometimes it works your way, sometimes it works their way.
Exactly,
and that's I think is the fair thing is you have one way of doing it.
I'm more than happy to. The whole price of the vehicle's gone up $5,000 since I've pre-ordered
Yeah, exactly.
it.
And you're not being penalized for that. So they could tell you, okay, we'll give you the free paint, but then we'll have to give you the higher price too. And then you would say no. So
yeah, cool.
Sawyer, I might have missed this because I guess the way you posed the question to me when I first came up was, did I actually want to take delivery then? And you just said something about, do you think the 4680 will probably have a little more range? Is that why you're holding off? Because you want to get to Texas?
No. The biggest reason I was holding off was because of this EV tax credit. I was supposed to take delivery around 12 days before it's supposed to go live in the first. So I was like, screw that. I'm putting my order on hold. And
they moved my delivery up. It was supposed to come in January, and I think after one night talking on here, might have been talking to Omar or something like that. And he said, no, you can call and put it on hold. Tell them you're going to take you out of country or something. I didn't. I just said I couldn't take delivery. And they put it on hold. And then the night that you tweeted that it had changed to February, the next morning I took it off hold, and it now puts my date from 21st of January to February, when before it was in December.
Interesting. Yeah, I think in general, Tesla delivery dates are just so fluid right now. I think unless your date's really close, people really shouldn't pay any attention to the dates.
Okay. I have this feeling in the back of my mind that other people are going to do that, and suddenly I'm going to move up the roster and have to put it on hold again.
Yeah. Mine was June, and it dropped to March, April. So it's who knows?
You guys are playing musical chair there.
Yeah, I think we are. I was like, just give it to me in January. But back to the original question. I mean, how long would you hold off to think that you're actually going to get one from Texas? This is for me. If I really wanted one from Texas, do you think they're going to start off with 4680? Yes or no?
I don't think they'll start off with 4680. I'll tell you, the date the mine is held off until. I didn't want to tweet it out because I don't think Tesla probably wants me to share how much I pushed it back or how much they allowed me to. So I put my order on hold until March 1st. There's a button in my account, so at any point that I want to take delivery before then, I can. I just can hit the button. I'm ready. And I don't know how long it would take by the time I click that, by the time I take delivery. But I put on hold till March 1st. One, because I don't expect this EV tax credit to pass before Christmas. I'm expecting it to sort of spill over a little into whether it's January or February, I don't know. So I'm just providing myself a little buffer there. And then in terms of like Giga Texas, hopefully it's going to start up and running here, getting production going by the end of this year. So I'm sort of holding out for maybe I get one of the really early, especially because I'm on the East Coast, one of the early models out of there. I don't, even if it's not 4680, that's okay with me. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, because I'm East Coast. That would be
the
obvious option for it to come from Texas. But I don't know. I'm not.
I really wouldn't hold. I'm not going to hold my breath for a Giga Texas one. It's at the end of the day, like the Fremont Model Ys are just so well made at this point. Like it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, everything's dialed in. And like seriously, you don't know if you're going to have 4680 or not, even if you have your VIN with the A instead of the F.
I know.
And it's really stupid. It's not like changing the whole EV. It's from a shareholder perspective. Yes, it is, because like the margins are going to be better and so on and so forth. But for the consumer, people are not going to be, like I have 4680, my car is so much better than yours. This is not going to happen.
Whether or not it has 4680 isn't a big deal to me, but coming from Texas, I am assuming that it will have the front end casting. And that is kind of important to me, because the Giga casting is one of the first reasons I started investing in Tesla in the first place.
Again, like all these castings, it's better margins, but for the consumer itself, like the user of the car, it doesn't change anything.
I honestly think Sandy Monroe kind of differs on that, because he said he thinks it makes it a more solid car. That's kind of when he changed his opinion to say that that's why is one of the main reasons he recommends that, is because it has that rear end casting and it makes a more firm car.
I don't know. It's maybe for the same amount of dollars or the same amount of weight or the same amount of but it's like Teslas are the safest cars, and the Giga casting is not going to make it like way safer or way more rigid or so like from the consumer's perspective, it doesn't change much, all these things. This is mostly for Tesla nerds and Tesla investors.
This is just for me being a Tesla nerd.
Exactly. Yeah, how many times
you might save a little weight,
your head under your car to see the Giga casting, or pull out the mats in the back?
Well, as a nerd, we might be doing it quite a bit.
That is that's such a Tesla customer thing to do. Like, I wonder if mine has a rear Giga press.
Totally.
Like, what are car people do?
Do not be surprised if you see pictures or videos of me taking apart my car, because I probably will.
Dude, I'm going to be the same way.
It would be a first for me.
All right. Well, thanks, Ricky. So I hope this episode was somewhat helpful for people in one way or another, or at least entertaining. Thanks, Amy and Alex, for joining in.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sawyer, for doing this.
Oh, yeah. Especially, I don't want to read all that 100 pages that I probably wouldn't understand even one page of.
Honestly, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that, Sawyer.
And if there's a major change, you'll be doing a follow-up, right?
That's right. Another full hour.
Please.
If the Senate screws you over, you'll be doing another one of these.
Which they will. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to subscribe to XPod for future episodes. I'm going to post this episode probably tomorrow on our YouTube channel, Official XPod. In the description, I'll also provide the full bill, the link, and what page the EV credit stuff starts on, and any other stuff maybe you guys will find helpful. But anyways, that's it.
Thanks a lot, Sawyer. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Sawyer.